You want to hear a scary joke? One liner. My father slapped me.
Are you kidding?
My father gave me one tight slap. All the Indian kids in Malaysia are shivering in fear now.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Ayy-Men. It's your boys, my name is Ming.
It's Raj.
And my name is Joseph.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about some mysteries that the universe has yet to explain and some that humans are yet to understand. We are going to be talking about ghost stories.
It's weird when you do your own echo, bro.
Is it?
Yeah,
I didn't know my own echo.
Ghost. Joseph and Raj, do you guys believe in ghosts?
Joseph, you want to start off?
I think I do believe. How else am I supposed to give excuses?
For what?
What?
What are we talking about?
Excuses for what?
I don't know, being late. Hey Joseph, where are you? Oh, got ghosts.
Raj, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes, I do. The reason being, I've had a few experiences myself. Growing up, I've been very interested in paranormal occurrences, and I've had the dishonor of, going through a few of them. Encountering.
For myself, I think because I come from a religious upbringing and family, I don't believe in ghosts per se. I do believe in the supernatural realm. I believe that there are evil spirits and forces at play in the world today. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you have to speak with accent?
I don't know, dude.
You're scared, is it?
Yeah, dude. What is your first, like you said, encounter or memory that you were like, oh, this ain't right. This ain't right.
Growing up, my parents have always indoctrinated the idea that you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, because the spirits will attack, ghosts will attack, all that. Didn't really believe them.
Are you? Is your family a spiritual family?
Yeah, we're quite spiritual. But sometimes I think using fear was a tool to make sure the kids, stayed under control.
Of course.
I didn't believe them, but I still felt fearful because some part of me knew that these kind of things could happen. So my first experience happened when I was in standard 4. And then this boy, I think he's from Sabah or Sarawak, he comes up to all of us and he says, "Hey guys, do you all want to play this game called Spirit of the Coin?"
Such a bad idea,
right?
Oh, man.
At that point of time, I had no idea what Spirit of the Coin is. For those of you that don't know, Spirit of a Coin is like this paranormal game you play where you use a coin to try to communicate with the spirit. So I thought, come on, lads. What coin you want to communicate? You want to communicate with the vending machine, can lah. But spirits like, what joke is this guy trying to pull? So we said, never mind. We are bored, we go and play. So what this guy did was, he took 9 of us. We all sat in a circle and he put a coin in the center. And all we did was we all put one finger on the coin and then we asked this question, are there spirits here right now? We asked it in BM. Sekarang, di sini.
Okay, yeah, we got it.
Ada apa-apa spirit tak? And then, after that, we let go of our hand and then we flip the coin. If it's heads, means yes, tails means no. So after that, the guy flipped the coin. It landed on heads. Means yes, there's a spirit here. So we spent like half an hour nicely asking all kinds of weird questions. And then the whole time we thought it was a big fat joke.
Yeah.
Until we came to the end, we had to flip the coin again and ask, can you leave us now? We flipped the first time. The coin landed on tails. Means he didn't want to go. Then we laughed lah. Good joke. Flipped it again. Again the coin landed on no. Third time flipped again. Again the coin landed on no. And we were starting to get freaked out. We were like, yo, is this a joke or is this serious? Then we flipped it one last time and then it landed on heads. Okay? The story doesn't end here. This is where it gets exciting. I went back to the dormitory to sleep. Fell asleep at 11 o'clock at night.
I'm out, bro.
Okay.
You lost your pants, right?
I'm out.
You lost your pants, bro.
3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. Okay? We were sleeping, all had single beds. We were right in the middle of a jungle. I looked out of the window, I woke up, something didn't feel right.
I'm not gonna sleep tonight, bro.
And I could see people walking into the forest, just like they had no bodies, just like shapes, just walking. And the worst part was, When I saw that happening, my bed started to shake like tuk, 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 tuk. And there was empty space under my bed. It felt as if something was shaking my bed from below. But that was my first paranormal encounter.
That's my first.
Yeah. So after that, I just scratched my ass and I went back to sleep.
Do you smell your finger after that?
I can't remember. I knocked out, so I must have.
That's my creepy story.
That shit fucking scary, bro.
That's actually
That's
creepy.
legit scary, actually, bro.
Oh man, dude, that's crazy.
It only gets better. That's like level 1, bro.
Before we go into that, do you guys watch horror stuff? Are you horror buffs?
Not as
I don't
much
really.
as I watch action movies, but I enjoy watching a good horror movie.
For me, I would not specifically go to the cinema and watch. Maybe a premiere, like I get invited and stuff like that. But
then
that's
you
about
will.
it. Yeah.
I would never. If free or not, you pay me, so maybe I won't go. Haunted houses and all these scary
Oh my God,
experiences.
haunted houses.
Is that up your
I love
alley?
it. I love
I love
this
it.
stuff.
I love it.
Really?
Maggie hates it.
Okay, but you like why?
I don't mind. I don't mind going.
Why do you guys like it?
Just scream and laugh
scream
with
and
your
laugh.
friends, like,
Yeah.
get spooked. It's like
The
a
funniest
adrenaline
part.
rush.
The funniest part is always the photos,
The photos.
the reactions,
Okay.
the emotions that you show, you portray.
I don't know. I'm a big scaredy cat, but not just because of like the moment itself. Because when I go back, that's when the real torture happens. Because my mind is just thinks about the same thing and amplifies it, so it's really scary. Do you guys have any irrational fears?
I used to have an irrational fear of the dark.
Yes.
And of actually, it's not the fear of the dark, you know. It's the fear of what is inside the dark.
Mother.
That
you
is
gotta
the
say
scary
that?
part, bro.
If I don't sleep tonight, bro, I'm gonna call you. Raj,
Raj, help!
I can't sleep. But what are you wearing now?
So how I usually protect myself from these creatures, and how Joseph is, I'll cover myself with a blanket. Then I'll have one pillow in front of me, one pillow behind me, and then I have a bolster as a weapon, just in case.
yeah.
And then I must cover my whole head and just a small hole for breathing.
Bro, it's damn hot.
Aircon.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how I used to protect myself. lah.
So then, when you, I'm sure everyone experiences this. When you go downstairs, or you're the last one to come up, and then you off the lights, and then you run. You run up that
Bro,
damn
it's like
stairs.
racing with like
Were
something,
you like that as
bro.
well?
I was at that. I used to take 3 steps at one time.
Yes,
just to go to the top.
Same.
The same time I was scared, I was like, wow, I'm quite athletic also.
Joseph, what about you?
Same. I've always been very scared when it comes to the dark as well. The same thing. I would jump down. I jump up the staircase, bro. Run to the room, close the door, lock the door, jump to my bed, cover myself after that, and then, like just close my eyes right after that. But
crazy,
that
dude.
stopped happening after I turned 15, I think.
Any scary stories from being home alone?
Not to me, but my dad has told me a few stories.
Are you serious, like guys? Who the is playing around, man, dude?
Back to being home alone.
We're not even home alone now, alright? Shit's already happening, guys.
Like you guys, I think I'm quite afraid of the dark. So we used to have a night light. I used to bound 3 steps up. And then also, like, cover your blanket. But then when it's hot, then you put one leg out.
Oh, no, that's
But
dangerous.
bro, when
That's
you put the
dangerous.
leg out, they come and the leg,
They will suck your blood from your feet.
Yeah,
Put your feet in the mouth.
if I'm not wrong, I think it's the ring toe. This one on the toe. That's the one they want, So you gotta make sure you cover that bad boy. And then after it's okay. But I don't know, I feel like it's not, so I'm quite surprised that you guys are so terrified of the dark as well. It's not just us. I know a lot of people hate the dark, right?
So, the Malaysian culture is very interesting because I think the whole paranormal category is something very prominent,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In our
things
whole region,
In
bro.
our whole region.
Yeah.
Things like black magic,
Yeah.
things like, Pontianaks or Pochongs
I think
or Langfis.
Asians have the scariest ghosts, right? Like from the Pontianaks to like
Thais, bro.
The Thais.
The Thais
Oh
are
my god,
scary,
The
man.
freaking Japanese ghosts, right? And
Japanese.
how deep the lore goes.
Yeah.
It gets almost to a point like imagination is great, but how much detail can you
Yeah,
put these
man.
like things into? Right? It's crazy, dude.
And some of these beliefs have become taboo.
Yes.
Things that you shouldn't do, especially in places like forests, for example.
Yeah,
When you go into a forest, especially at night, one of the beliefs is that you mustn't call a person by their real name.
Oh.
Because what happens is, if just say I call your name in the forest, Joseph, Joseph,
Yeah.
Joseph, the spirit hears your name takes the exact form of you and will replace you in the real world. And stuff like this has happened before. I've got tons of stories about these kind of things happening to friends and whatnot. Also, you know, for ladies, when you guys have your period, for example, right? It's very important to stay clean when you're in the forest because spirits are attracted to blood.
I have a story actually about my cousin. So it was my cousin's bachelor's party. We went to a club. There was a few girls and he decided to go out with this girl. He started seeing the girl every night.
Oh!
Every night they would go out, you know, hang around, right? So one day when they were about to leave at like 5 a.m., they were hanging out at his place. My cousin was still staying at his mom's place, my auntie's place basically. His wife was outstationed.
Yeah.
And the both of them, let's call her girl B, like mistress, okay? Cindy. Let's call-
Cindy.
Everyone hates Cindy, I don't know why, but like, so Cindy and him were about to leave the house and
At 5 o'clock in the morning.
At 5 o'clock in the morning. They didn't know that my auntie was already awake making coffee behind the kitchen.
Mate.
And then what happened was the auntie saw and then she shouted right away to my cousin, "Who the f*** is this girl?" And then the girl just ran out, bro. She ran out from the house. So what happens from there is super scary. You can call it scary, you can call it funny, entirely up to you, all right? So the next day, my auntie called my cousin to come back early from work. And when he came back, he saw 3 monks. My aunt believed that
The ghost.
no, yes. And my cousin was possessed by the girl. That's why he decided to, you know, cheat on the wife before, like, you know, the marriage and before the wedding and stuff like that. So,
It's an easy way out, bro.
so the leader of the monk told him, boy, take out your shirt, take out your pants, take out your socks or whatever. Just be with your underwear." He took it out. He kneeled down in front of the monk, and the monk was just spraying like lime water while the other two were doing that TikTok, like talk shit, talk. So imagine like you,
They're just like, renegade.
imagine the guy here started chanting. The guy here started chanting. The leader of the monk started chanting, like spraying like lime water on you, and me and Raj doing this.
Oh my god.
So they did it the first time. After the chant was done, the leader of the monk asked, "Did you feel anything at all?" No. I said, "Okay, this is a very tough spirit. Let's do it again." Second time, did you feel anything? At that time, my cousin's knee, right, started hurting because he was kneeling down the entire time. He said no. Then third time again. Did you feel anything? At that time, my cousin's knee was numb already, so he acted like, "Oh yes,
Yeah! Oh my goodness.
yes."
Yo, I'm just say it. Your cousin of the year, man.
So it's all fun and games, right? There's one ghost story that I'll never forget that happened to me. This happened when I was in Form 4. I was at Semenyih. There's a national service base around there, so it's a huge area. And we had this camp there. It was police cadets, state level camp. So it was a 4-day camp, and on the third night, as all camps in Malaysia have, this thing called Malam Kebudayaan. Okay, I don't know whether you guys remember that, but it's cultural night.
Yeah.
Correct. So all the different districts will come together to do a performance. It could be like a Bhangra dance, it could be a Chinese dance, it could be a Malay dance, it could be anything as long as it's cultural. So this team from Gombak,
It's always Gombak, bro.
it's always Gombak.
Gombak. Serious.
You can't say that, Joseph.
For some reason, all these ghost stories are f***ing Gombak, bro. Serious. I've heard a lot of stories from Gombak. If there's ever a trip to Gombak, don't f***ing invite me, alright, guys?
That's what we're doing next season, bro. We're going to go back.
I'm not going there, alright? Gombak.
So this team from Gombak, they decided that they wanted to win the Malam Kebudayaan competition.
Yeah.
So what they did was, they decided to do a silat performance. So silat, if you all don't know, it's a traditional Malay dance, right?
It's a martial art.
It's a martial art. Thank you for clarifying. What a cultured man.
I am.
Alright? But this silat performance that they did was no
it was a
regular
possession
silat
Oh
dance.
my goodness.
It was something called Silat Saka, S-A-K-A, alright? And this Silat Saka is different because they will call spirits to come and dance with them just so that their dance appears more nice and more beautiful to the people watching. Now, what happened was, It was a guy and girl performance, co-ed performance. They went up onto the stage to perform. And as the girls were dancing, there was this one girl, she didn't notice that the ponytail, her ponytail, was standing up by itself. 250 people saw it. She was dancing, the ponytail stood up, and everyone saw, they started talking to each other, and in an instant she fainted. On stage, she fainted. The teachers started to panic, they knew something was not right. So they announced on the mic, okay, we're going to end the session for tonight. Everybody, let's head back to the main camp. The moment she announced that, one random boy in the crowd screamed and he fainted. Another girl started screaming, she fainted. This hysteria, correct. This mass hysteria started spreading. Things went out of control. So what the teacher said was, okay, let's evacuate everybody back to the main camp. So all 250 people went in vans, buses. They drove about 2 kilometers back to the main camp. And we made this big circle. All the Malay boys made a big circle. Everybody that was fainted, that was screaming, were put in the center of the circle.
And they burned them.
It was just them in the middle.
You just burned them?
Didn't burn them.
Okay.
Toast them a bit first. Went, right? So they started praying. They started praying really, really loudly. All the girls and the non-Muslims were by the side. So this is where it gets a bit scary, right? Everybody else was praying. Even the Chinese guys, the Indian guys who don't usually pray, we started praying also, right? We started praying.
Get real religious.
I don't believe in God.
Right? But there was this one Malay girl sitting next to me. She wasn't uttering a single word. She was just staring at the floor. So I looked at her.
No, Raj.
And I told myself, God, of all the places, you had to get this girl sitting next to me into some trouble. I looked at her, she looked at the floor. I looked at her, she kept on looking at the floor. And I was like, something is not right. The teachers noticed, they started running towards her and they tried to feed her Air Zamzam. Air Zamzam is like a prayer water.
Holy water.
Holy water, right? She didn't want to drink it. So the teachers started force feeding the water to her and she screamed out. I don't know whether I can say this on the show, but she screamed out, Ya Allah, in a man's voice.
Oh, that's hardcore.
Right?
That's hardcore.
She screamed that in a man's voice. Everybody freaked out. Immediately they dragged her away because they believed that when somebody gets possessed, you shouldn't put them around other people because it might spread. They dragged her away. The story doesn't end there.
Oh my God.
This is the cream of the crop. This is the ending, right? Right?
Crème
de la crème.
Right? It only gets, this is the last part, right? So after 10 minutes of that happening, everything started to cool down. Then the instructors came. They said, okay, boys, take the stairs back up to your dorm. Go and sleep. So we started walking towards the stairs. We turned the corner. We see a group of teachers standing. They were huddling around something. So we looked through. We saw this girl. She was on the floor. Her eyes rolled backwards. And mind you, she's from the Petaling district, right? The dance that we saw was from the Gombak district. She was doing the exact same dance moves of these people from the Gombak district.
Bro, seriously?
Step by step.
Gombak, bro. Let me tell you right now, I am not going to touch Gombak now, bro. Alright? But what the man?
That's
What the
And you know what the scary part was?
I don't know.
Besides all that,
Did she even do Silat?
she doesn't even know Silat, bro. You know, the interesting thing was, during that whole time, there wasn't a feeling of fear in the air. There was only a feeling of sadness and gloominess when that whole thing was happening. So that was something very interesting that I still remember until today. We weren't feeling scared, but there was this heaviness in the air while all that was happening.
Man. It's cool, man. Shit.
Shit! Raj, we have a couple more slides to go, but I feel like we gotta call it a day, dude. This episode is getting a little bit out of hand.
I'm like laughing, trying to cope, but like I'm legit quite scared actually.
That's quite spooky, man. Talk dealing with the fear. Some people call it irrational fear. Some people call it, warranted fear. Mm-hmm. How I deal with it is I psych myself up with anger. I really the whole walking, like getting the dark, right? Yeah. I realized that there's fight or flight. Human minds, right? When we are scared, it's why you see when animals as well, there's two reactions when you scare them or you get close. Either they run away or they lash out. So I figured maybe it's time we lash out. Right? So in the dark, when things don't go your way, it's Wing Chun time, man.
Bro.
Straight up, right?
Lay low mo. I'm straight with you.
Like, what is the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Just die anyway, right? We are on the way there anyway. So just touch and go even faster.
But what if you get stuck in a limbo between earth and heaven?
Bro, we fight our way up to heaven, bro.
Yeah.
For 30 years is punching air.
Okay, but for everyone who's watching this and if you've gotten this far, I just want to say congratulations. If you're scared, we are too, don't worry. My only words of comfort to you is that, hey, number one, don't be scared.
That's so helpful, bro.
So this is what I believe in, right?
Punch the air, man.
If you guys are religious, if you have a God that you pray to, if you're Christian, if you're Buddhist, you're Muslim, whatever it is, whatever's in you is still better than what's outside, right? Protect yourself, have the confidence, fight. Don't flight. Alright?
Fight.
Really, because when I ask you this question, when the ghost, I mean, how scary the ghost is, right? In any shape or form, right? Whether they got long hair, long fingernails, long eyebrows, you know, whatever it is, right? End of the day, what's the worst that can happen to you? It's one answer: death.
Oh yeah.
When you die,
that was fist.
you are same level of them already. Then you can beat them up. Think about it that way.
Yeah. So that's all the time we have for today. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear some of your ghost stories. Be sure to put them down in the comments below.
I don't want to hear.
I actually don't want to hear.
If you want to hear more ghost stories from us, let us know in the comments as well. I'm sure we all have some interesting stories to share. No?
Stories.
Stories? I got plenty of stories to share.
Stories.
I got plenty of stories to stare.
Yeah.
Again, anyway, guys, make sure you hashtag Ayy-Men asking for a friend. Share with us the next questions, or, you know, we'll see you guys soon, I guess. Ooh.